Hey, I'm Jim. This is the check-in. It's a different kind of video where instead of running and talking about theology and the world and our lives in it, I just sit at my desk and drink a coffee and check in about how my running's been going, training, and just my life in general. It also means I didn't get a regular video recorded this week. So if you're here for those, there'll be one soon. If you're here just for hanging out, stick around. So let's talk about marathon training. Also, cold brewed coffee, always a plus. Sometimes I make cold brewed coffee just because I don't have enough time to heat up the water to make regular coffee, but I never get disappointed with a good cold brew coffee. What about you? Are you a hot or cold coffee drinker? Leave a comment. Okay, marathon training. Um, I've noticed a pattern this training block where I'll do 2 really good weeks and then like a dip of like 2 to 3 weeks, and then 2 really good weeks, and then a dip of 2 to 3 weeks, and then 2 really good weeks, and then a dip. I think. Let me just double check. Yeah, look at this. Look at this graph. Look at that, where it's got 2 solid weeks at the start, and then I had 3 weeks off. I think that was for our family vacation. So there was like kids sick, kids home, out for a week, and I ran those weeks. I just didn't run 30 plus miles like I'd hoped. And then I had 2 pretty good weeks in the middle there, and then 2 weeks that were barely any running. I don't remember why now. And then 2 incredible weeks. I look at those. Look at that last one. Those are the best weeks of my marathon training. I hit my long runs. I did an 18 and 17 mile long run, including one last Sunday when the London Marathon was happening, including the world record for the marathon. Got to watch that live while I was running on my phone. And then this past week, I've ran once. There's a lot of reasons for that. It's been a little colder in the mornings here in Michigan, so I haven't been running the kids to school, which is an easy way to integrate running into my life, giving me at least 4 to 5 miles guaranteed. My left foot has a little bit of like tenderness when I step without, if I'm wearing these, I'm feeling good. But if I'm just barefoot in the house or in socks, I notice it. And so I'm just kind of letting that be a foot and heal and not put any extra pressure on it, because I've got 2 big races coming up. So I think I'm trained enough for these races. This in less than a week, I have a half marathon trail race up in Traverse City. This was supposed to be the one my wife was going to run, but she was not feeling the training required. I don't blame her. It's cold in Michigan, and she's like, "But I still want the sweatshirt. Can we go?" Sure. So we switched it over to me instead, and I'll run it, which is nice because the following week I'm running a marathon. So this is a good last big run. It's not a super elevation trail run, so it should be pretty easy on my body. And then the next week, I'll be running a marathon in Grand Haven on March 17th. May 17th. I know what month we were in. No, I don't. So my training has not been prime training, but I still think I'm in enough general fitness to cover the distance I need. We'll just see how fast it is, how long it takes. And the beauty is, it doesn't matter how long it takes, ever, in running. I mean, unless you're Sebastian Sawe and you're going for, sub 2, which I am not. We'll be aiming for a solid 4 hour marathon and be happy with that. I'm actually pacing the Grand Rapids Marathon in October, and I'm pacing the 356 group. They do their pace groups based on celebrities who've run marathons, and so I'm pacing the Will Ferrell group, which is basically a 9-minute flat mile. So I might aim just to do that at my marathon as kind of a test run. Can I just keep a consistent 9-minute mile, and how does that feel in my body? Which, let's be honest, that's a little faster than I've been doing my long runs these past couple of weeks, so it might feel interesting in my body. But that's been my lack thereof when it comes to marathon training. But it's nice to just run. I think for me this year especially, running is not about hitting a time. It's just about keeping my body connected to itself and to the world around me, and giving myself space to just be a human being who moves. And I think sometimes those are the most essential things. It's great to have big goals. I'm not going to say if you have a big goal, you don't, but sometimes the goal is just to enjoy running in the world, right? I hope so. If I stop doing that, if I'm just chasing times and goals, then I think I've missed the point of the whole experiment called life. So what have I been doing instead of running? Some of it's been, work, lots of things there, keep me busy. My life is filled with whole lots of things in different spaces of, digital ministry and consulting and doing things online, a lot of emails, a lot of videos, a lot of meetings, a lot of strategy, all that. There has been time I could have spent running, but I've spent it building instead. I've been making some garden beds. A few years ago, I made 3 garden beds that we have in the backyard. And then last year I made another big L, but never got it filled. And then this year I made another big L, a giant L on a slope, and then a little bit of square one to kind of fill out a spot. My wife kind of helped design the layout, and then I sketched out how these should all be built and what material I need. And I went to Home Depot and had them cut all my wood for me because I don't have any power tools here that can cut like that. And I don't want to use a handsaw 1,000 times. And then I put it all together and stained it and waterproofed it, and then dug a giant hole and then put it in the hole. And then now we're in the process of filling it with stuff. Here's a little tour of what we've got going on outside. Isn't it cool? Yeah, so we're basically turning our backyard into a little, magical garden. And if nothing else, we'll feed the chipmunks the seeds, because that's what's been happening so far with the first round of seeds. But it's been fun to kind of have a giant project. What I love about it, my wife and I have noticed this, when her and I are outside doing just projects outside, the kids are just outside. There was a lot of time when I was building these and the boys would help. They would, help screw things in, or they would just make things out of the extra wood, or they would line up screws and make little houses or cars or whatever their imagination had. And it was just fun to be together in this space. Dad working on a project. Sometimes the kids would run and get me a beer. Always a good thing to train your kids to do. But it was just a lot of fun to be together on the mostly warm days, sometimes on colder days as well. But good times. So that's what I've been doing instead of really dialing in running every free minute of my life. I've been using those free minutes of my life to do other things in my life, which has been really meaningful and great. And I don't regret any of that. And if that's you, you shouldn't either. It's okay to have big goals and then to let other priorities be the priority. I've always said that my running revolves around my life. My life doesn't revolve around my running. But I am a healthier, better dad and husband and just human when I run. I know that too. Okay, last thing. There is a new YouTube channel. I mentioned this a while back that I was looking at getting it launched, but had a few glitches with my GoPro, which there still are glitches. It does not record as long as it should on a full battery. My kids like to take it and make little home videos around the house, and they keep getting frustrated that it keeps turning off after 45 seconds. I don't know why. I probably need a new GoPro. It's very old, and the screen is very cracked, and the batteries are probably not doing what they're supposed to do anymore. But I got one video up. The new channel is called 1 Hour Later. I'll link wherever I can link where you should go find it, subscribe to it, and it's an experiment. There's one video, maybe there'll be another one soon if I get the camera set up on our creek in our backyard. But the idea is, it's a question of how long can you be present with something that's not designed to keep your attention. And it's not just a boring screen. You get to see the sunrise or something. The first one is the sunrise, and you get to hear the sounds of ducks. And really, it's an invitation to be present in a space that often causes us to be absent or manic or just going from this to that. This is the anti-Mr. Beast, where his whole approach is, how can I keep your attention for the entirety of my video? Mine is a challenge. Can you give your attention for the entirety of this video? And why not? What does it say about yourself when you feel disconnected? So it's more of a visual meditation. So you can check that out if you want. There are, as of this recording, 2 fantastic subscribers. I think I'm one of them, and my friend Steven is the other. So bonus points, Steven. Everyone else, get on it and give it a watch. It's an interesting experiment. It's an interesting experiment. I will say I did it. I made the video, and then I put it up and watched the whole thing and was present with the sunrise and the sounds of ducks. And I kept waiting to see if I'd see any ducks, but I didn't. And sometimes that's life too, right? You're waiting for the ducks and they never show up. You just hear them in the background and enjoy the sunrise. I liked watching the blades of grass get more and more color visible on them with the dew. Anyway, I think I'm selling it. Go check it out. That's a new project that we'll see how long it goes. There's lots of projects. I have a Digital Ministry Friends series I'm launching over at another channel where I talk to my digital ministry friends. If you're into that, that's a lot of fun too. All right, that is about all I got for this check-in. And I got a lot of iced coffee to drink, and I probably got to go to work or something. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to fill garden beds later. And you can go watch a 45-ish minute video on a channel called 1 Hour Later. I know it didn't get a full hour. I blame the GoPro, okay? I timed it out exactly to get back to the GoPro 1 hour later, pick it up, but the GoPro is dead. Again, GoPro problems. I think I need a new GoPro. Do I need a new GoPro? Hey, GoPro, you watching this? Want to sponsor a channel? All right, see you later. Bye.